Welcome to the second lecture in our 5-part series of breast anatomy, physiology, ultrasound appearance, benign and malignant pathology. This lecture is going to cover breast physiology. Now, the good thing about breast physiology is that there isn't a whole lot to discuss about it, especially in relation to ultrasound. So the biggest thing that you need to know about the breast is that the breast is a modified sweat gland. So the milk that breasts produce is basically sweat. Kind of weird, kind of awesome all at the same time. And the breasts are really affected by a lot of hormones. Your notes on the breast physiology have a lot of hormones that are listed. The main 4 that you just need to be aware of are prolactin, estrogen, oxytocin, and progesterone. Those 4 have probably the biggest impact on the breast development and then when the breasts start to develop breast milk. As I mentioned, estrogen is a big part of breast development, and the breasts develop in 4 stages. Stage 1 is going to be more of your prepubescent child. Stage 2 is when the breast buds begin to develop. Stage 3 is during puberty, and stage 4 is your mature breast. Knowing the breast development stages is important for our pediatric patients. I have often scanned infants with larger breasts, and so sometimes I just want to know, is it leftover hormones from mom's estrogen, or is there some sort of tumor underneath there? More often than not, it's just leftover hormones, but we do want to know what the breast stages are so we know what's appropriate for the age. And the breasts really only function during pregnancy. That's the only time that they're actually doing anything functional. The milk production begins. After that, then oxytocin happens when the mother starts trying to feed or nurse. Prolactin is going to get the whole system going as well. So again, those first 4 hormones that we talked about originally, those really have a big part of the breast milk production. You don't need to know anything more than that they exist and loosely what they do. These types of questions are not going to end up on your abdomen boards. If you decide to focus on breast ultrasound and take your breast boards, you might have to know a little bit more about this. But in the end, all you need to know, breasts are only functional during pregnancy. And lab values are not something that is super concrete with the breast either. There's not a lab value that says, oh, your breast will or won't work, or your breasts are malfunctioning, like we get with the liver or the pancreas. Really, the only lab values that I have listed here are more in relation to a cancer being somewhere in the body, possibly within the breast, and here are some labs that might be abnormal should there be a cancer. Now, the BRCA or BRCA genes are probably the ones that you're most familiar with. And the BRCA genes are in everybody, and it becomes an issue when your BRCA gene is mutated. Now, the BRCA gene doesn't cause cancer. What the BRCA gene actually does is, its job is to suppress cancer, is to prevent it. But when it becomes mutated, it no longer prevents cancers. And so the patients that have the mutated BRCA1 or 2 gene are more likely to develop breast cancer, and ovarian cancer is the other big one. So quite often you might see patients coming in due to familial history of BRCA1 or BRCA2 genes, and we'll be doing screenings on them both for breast and ovaries. And that is the end of physiology. So in the end, all you need to know is, again, that the breast is a modified sweat gland, only functional during pregnancy, and that prolactin, estrogen, oxytocin, progesterone are the main 4 hormones that act upon the breast.